This will be a short video responding to questions about a photo taken by Scott Fischer showing fixed ropes below the Hillary step, when my videos discussed the numerous sources stating that no ropes were fixed between South Summit and the base of the Hillary step in 1996. The photo appears most prominently on the cover of Lene Gammelgaard's book Climbing High. It is indeed taken by Scott Fischer, and the ropes are clearly fixed below the Hillary step. The problem is the photo was taken by Scott Fischer in 1994 and not 1996. This is stated by none other than Jon Krakauer on page 269 of Into Thin Air, the illustrated edition. There the photo appears in reverse for some unexplained reason. The 1994 expedition has some important lessons for 1996, and the situation should seem rather familiar. Two teams, one led by Rob Hall and his lead Sherpa and Dorje, and a second team with Scott Fischer and Lopsang Jangbu, though Fischer was not working as a guide in 1994. In the photo, that is Lopsang at the top of the Hillary step. Both teams in 1994 headed out the same day to make a summit on May 9th. 16 people summited on May 9th, 1994, in a 1.5-hour period. And most curiously, just like in 1996, Rob Hall would run out of oxygen on his descent. But pretty much every single myth about 1996 is busted by the 1994 climb, so I will be taking a closer look at that in a future video. Another curious fact is that we know exactly how much oxygen the adventure consultants' guides, clients, and Sherpas carried in 1994. And yet this information is shrouded in mystery and contradicting accounts for 1996, even though an award-winning investigative journalist was allegedly reporting on the details of the climb. But even without Krakauer's attribution for the photograph, there was never a time in 1996 when Fischer was so far back from the Hillary step and it only had 2 climbers on it. This is Fischer's photo from 1996 at the Hillary step. He is behind a number of Sherpa, and that is Doug Hansen at the bottom left. This is Jon Krakauer's photo of Bukrev fixing the Hillary step, and you can see the pool of orange rope next to Neil Beitelman, who is on belay. You can also see a purple rope already fixed up the Hillary step, and it is leading away from it. That is from a previous season, as the only rope Bukrev took over. There is this orange rope, and that can be seen in this photo. That orange rope was never fixed into place below the step, and it is the one balled up at Beitelman's feet. Now, eventually, people pulled up some of the ropes from the earlier seasons, and you can see some of these ropes in this photo, taken from Scott Fischer, looking down from the Hillary step. Those ropes end at the top of that cornice. This is one of Scott Fischer's last photos, and it shows Sandy Pittman in the top right, then Charlotte Fox, Tim, and Lene Gammelgaard. Krakauer claims that that black dot just beyond Pittman is Neil Beitelman. So, looking at the numerous photos from 1996, we can confirm that Anatoly Bukrev's account in The Climb is correct, that although he ran out an orange rope, that rope was never fixed below the step. Instead, people were able to pull up some old ropes from previous seasons, and those ropes where they did exist are visible in the photos. As a note, the caption of the photo in Everest, Mountain Without Mercy, this is that National Geographic book again, on page 144, stating the guides fixed the ropes at that point is incorrect, as can be seen in the photo where the rope is balled up at Beitelman's feet. At this point, I would just like to ask the climbers from 1996, Jon Krakauer, Neil Beitelman, and anyone else who has photos from that day that have not been released, to please release your photos for May 10th. It has been almost 30 years, and people would really like to know what actually happened that day. If it is a matter of licensing them, please just email me with who has the rights and how much they want to release them, and I can put together a crowd-funded initiative to get them released. By far, the most reliable account of what happened that day comes from the photos. I do not think it is useful to interview people about an event that took place almost 3 decades ago, and for which they have told countless stories over the years. If Krakauer or anyone else wants to debunk my videos, it will need to be based on reliable evidence, such as photographs. Simply having someone suddenly remember a key detail 28 years later is simply not believable at this point. So this photo was another perfectly valid attempt to debunk my videos by referencing a photograph of the mountain. Unfortunately for the debunkers, the photo was from the wrong year, and the photos from 1996 support Bukrev's account of the rope fixing for that season. I certainly do not believe everything that Bukrev said in the climb, and no matter who the source is, Jon Krakauer, Anatoly Bukrev, Luke Kashishsky, Lene Gammelgaard, whoever, I look at what other evidence exists to support or contradict their claim. Here, the claim that no ropes were fixed between the south summit and the base of the Hillary Step is supported by the photos taken that day. But please, continue to attempt to debunk my videos. And while we are still on the subject of debunking, a further patently false statement in Into Thin Air relating to the same issue of the adventure consultant Sherpa that I discussed in the last video. Page 296 of Into Thin Air, Krakauer again says that Lakpa reached the summit. But that is not true. Krakauer even wrote the Lakpa had not reached the summit on page 226. I know, it's a little nitpicky, as I covered a similar error in the last video. But Krakauer wants to get the facts right in his book, and I will keep debunking it until he does.